Hello, my name is Andrea Hermit. I am what you would call a veteran homeschooler. I started homeschooling in 2002. I started writing for homeschool blogs in 2008, and I started writing homeschool transcripts in 2012. And so that would make me a bit of an expert in the area of homeschool transcripts and getting students into college with scholarships. So preferably, I like to get started with students who are in 9th or 10th grade. The reason I start them so young is that we want to plan their high school journey to suit it toward what they're going to want to do in college and in their careers. We get a good idea of who they are, we get a good idea of what kind of atmosphere they want to be in, and we learn pretty quickly what they're naturally good at. And so with those things in mind, we can set a plan that's going to get them into a college that they're going to be very happy at and that they're going to be very successful in. So here's what you need to do. Step 1, figure out who you are and what you want, where you want to go to college, what you want to study. Step 2, research the colleges and find colleges that are easier to get into, challenging to get into, very hard to get into. And then tailor your high school experience toward that more difficult college. 4th, you document everything you've done, you keep good records, and then 5th, you apply. What I tend to do is, once I have an idea of what direction a child is heading into and what kind of college they want, then we start picking colleges. And once we have a good array of colleges that would suit the child, then we look at the hardest college to get into. We now plan their high school academics based on what is required to get into that college. If you don't plan ahead, then we're going to get what we're going to get. And I'm going to get you into the best college for you at that moment. What happens at that point is you take the SAT, you take the ACT, we maximize your score to the best of your ability. At that point, now we look at colleges that are accepting of whatever SAT score you have. And then we get that list of colleges, and at that point we match your strengths and weaknesses to those colleges. It can be done. You're not lost if you start your college planning journey in the 12th grade, but your possibilities are going to be greatly narrowed. If you're in 12th grade and you didn't have a traditional high school experience, I can still work with you. I had a boy who I met in the 12th grade, or I started working with him in the 12th grade, and he was unschooled. So unschoolers can go to college too. He was unschooled in a unique way. He loved theater, and because he loved theater, he saw every play humanly possible. He read every play he could get his hands on. He was well versed in Shakespeare. And he had gotten himself a press pass and had started writing for online theater publications, right? So language arts is done. I literally went into his job websites and pulled out what he had written and categorized them. Okay, he's got Shakespeare here, he's got world literature here, he's got American literature here. And the few classes he had taken around the community, we tested him through maths. I had to force him through Algebra 2 in 3 months, and then through Personal Finance in 2 months. And he got to 32 theater conservatories. He knew what he wanted to do, and he was already working toward it. Another example is a young man who kind of didn't really know what he wanted to do, but he knew he wanted to go to college. He was an Eagle Scout. That's fun because first of all, the whole Eagle Scout process is very akin to a passion project. So you've written a proposal, you've gotten business people to work with you, you've carried it out, so you've done a whole project, and that's going to get you anywhere you want to be anyhow. But also just the process of being a Boy Scout, all those badges mean something. For example, what is it called? There are 3 badges that count as a social studies. It's citizenship in your community, citizenship in your state, and citizenship in the world. If you've done those 3 badges, that's a year of social studies. And so he came to my house and we just laid all his badges out on my table and I grouped them. And that we covered all of his sciences, all of his social studies, and some of his writing. And so it's never too late and it's never a loss. It's just that the later you start, the more narrow your options are. Did he still end up in a college that was good for him? Yes. Did the unschooled kid still end up in one of the best theater conservatories in the country? Yes. Did I lose a weekend of sleep each time? Absolutely. But it can be done. So when it comes to record keeping, I like to start that as early as possible. I recommend that every homeschool mom have one of those IKEA type cube bookshelves. And for each cube, you have a bin. And you just dump every paper, every test, everything into that bin. At the end of 8th grade, I'm going to want to go ahead and make like a portfolio of, middle school and elementary, just for you to have. But at that point, I'm going to be pulling things out of 8th grade that could very likely work toward high school. Algebra, some science, some social studies. They're already doing high school work in the public schools, and homeschoolers can already be doing high school work also. At the end of every year, I'm going to want to see what textbook they used, what they've written, their best writing. I'm going to want to see their math scores. I'm going to want to see their science labs. I'm going to want to see a journal of their foreign language, like how much time they've spent speaking, how much time they've spent in like a foreign language app or what have you. If we can compile that each year, when we get to the end of 11th grade, we are ready to write the portfolio. So what does a homeschool portfolio look like? This is 4 years of high school. And what does it have in it? Starting with 9th grade toward the back, we just have a transcript for each year. And maybe we can get a screenshot of this.
Oh, yeah.
And then for each subject, we have a final exam, a couple of exams, their best writing, table of contents from textbooks or from websites, certificates of competitions that they did, report cards or progress reports from classes taken outside of the home, photographs of activities. So for each year, we have that. And then when we get to 11th grade, when we finish 11th grade, then we go ahead and compile that all into a transcript. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. And it looks like a public school transcript. It's not a big deal. I have templates. At that point, we're ready to send that to colleges. So we get to the end of 11th grade, we have everything we need to send to colleges. In addition to that, we need a list of what they're working on that year, their senior year. Because we're going to send applications out by Thanksgiving, no later. Once they're accepted, we're going to have to send a 1-year transcript. Colleges typically need a homeschool portfolio when a student's high school journey is not accredited. That means they were fully homeschooled instead of that transcript that many public school students have, that all public school students have. They have this list of experiences that shows that they got a comparable education, just maybe in a less traditional kind of way. So what is accreditation? Okay, if you are a parent of a middle schooler, or if you're a highly motivated middle schooler, early high schooler, the things you need to be thinking about are, where do I want to end up? Am I going to be a lawyer? Am I going to be a doctor? Am I going to be an artist? Am I going to be a theater star? Whatever it is you want to be, you need to have an idea, okay? And then you need to tailor your education toward that. Segue. Colleges aren't looking for a well-balanced student. They never have. They're looking for a well-balanced student body, okay? So they're not looking for one kid to be in all the clubs, to run all the student governments, to get all A's and all of that. They're looking for a student who's above average across the board with one thing that they've shot out of the park. So what you have to do is be yourself and lean into your strengths. And we cobble your high school career around that. And when we get to the end, your SAT is good. That one area is going to be higher than the others. Usually your verbal is really high or your math is really high. They prefer that over having both high, because now they're like, okay, we know where the student fits in our student body. And so at that point, they accept you and you get scholarships. So if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I always appreciate questions in the comments down below because it helps me inform my next video. Till next time.